First story. 3 summers in a row, 36M. Summer number 1 in April of 2022 I found out my girlfriend, 31F, at the time had physically cheated on me. She trickled-truthed me that time but eventually she confessed to what she did. I had moved 300 miles away from my family to be inner city and found a new job for myself. I left the job and moved back home with my parents for the summer of 2022. I was able to secure an apartment and had a job again by October of 2022. Summer number 2 after hearing her plea and really loving her, I accepted her back around February of 2023. This time she moved to me. Things were going fine. In July of 2023, we had a vacation planned, and while on vacation with her mom and dad I suspected something and asked to see her phone. Sure enough, in the deleted messages were texts she sent to the previously affair partner. I left only one day into a week-long vacation and drove 400 miles back home overnight. It was a traumatic experience for all of us. She moved out of the house into an Airbnb the next town over. We still intermittently saw each other and would be intimate when we saw each other. She wanted nothing more than to be back together, but I told her no and that I needed time away, and I told her who knows what the future holds. I told her we could continue to be intimate and have sex with each other only if we agreed to tell the other person, if we wanted to explore something romantic with another person. She agreed to this. Summer number 3, in late April of 2024, she moved out of the Airbnb in the neighboring town and back to her hometown 300 miles away. In June of 2024, she moved for a temporary work assignment on the other side of the country. She has been texting me several times a month saying how much she loves me, how she wants to have a family together, and how she's doing serious learning around her issues and trying to improve and be a better partner for me. I really do think it's true and I know she loves me a lot. I love her a lot too. Now it's July 2024, and I am sitting in a hotel room in Colorado, 1,000 plus miles from home. She invited me to come here with her, as she is doing a creativity workshop for her business idea that hasn't yet got set in motion. I am leaving tomorrow to go back home, and the last few days I have had bad dreams about things between us. The dreams weren't clear, but I decided to ask her about it this morning and ask if she is hiding anything from me. I asked if she had sex with her previous affair partner when she went back to her hometown after she left the Airbnb. She said yes. She didn't say yes immediately but rather tried to say they didn't really have sex because he couldn't get hard, and also said that it doesn't mean anything to her because he's not the type of person she wants to be with. I then asked if there was anyone else she has had sex with, and she admitted there was one person who also stayed at the Airbnb with her that she had sex with. I was hurt by this. I initially typed very before I wrote hurt and then deleted it because I really don't think I can feel as hurt as I did the first time. I'm more just disappointed now because I was imagining a future where she's the mother of my children. Because we had said we would tell each other if one of us was going to pursue something romantically with another person. I feel I would have never found out about these 2 instances if I didn't bring it up. And maybe thinking to myself I would have perhaps been better off not knowing. She said she didn't want to hurt me by telling me. She didn't want me to yell at her. I'm not a yeller, though I did raise my voice when I found out about the first affair. I never hit her. I told her that I had sex with someone I'm no longer interested in right before she moved back home. She did come over the day before she left and we had sex, and I didn't tell her. When I did tell her today, she didn't really seem deterred by it, and said she didn't want to know about it. I feel bad for not telling her sooner and coming on this trip without telling her I was intimate with someone else, but I also feel hurt that she wasn't truthful and was with her previous affair partner, when she was only back in her hometown for a month and a half, and also a random person from an Airbnb, and seemed to have no intention of telling me. She said she always used a condom and got STD tested about a month ago. I'm spinning right now and don't know what to do. She kept saying please when I dropped her off at her workshop this morning, wanting me to give this another chance. Am I right for feeling upset by this, or because we were technically not together, her having sex with others shouldn't even matter? I love her a lot and I feel that she genuinely wants to improve, and I know she loves me a lot. Second story. Found out my wife is cheating on me with another woman. What do I do? I have been married to my wife for 12 years, and we have 4 kids, all planned and no drama from past relationships. I've been in the military for 15 years now, and I have never had reason to suspect anything happened while I was deployed or away for training. Like any marriage, we have had our ups and downs, but for the most part we were solid. Last December we even got over an almost 2-year deadbed tomb, and I thought things had never been better. She has always supported me, and I her, even when the military has moved us thousands of miles a couple of times. But she has always complained about not having friends wherever we are. Not my doing. I've even tried to set up get-togethers with other military couples to introduce her to other wives. No go. Recently, though, she had become close friends with the wife of a buddy of mine. I thought nothing of it at first. I had been in a fairly serious relationship before we got together, and I had been cheated on then, and I didn't realize until I saw the text MSGS. This time, my intuition kicked in, and I started to notice things. She started being sneaky with her phone, never leaving it alone or making sure it was face down. Unlinking her iPad from her iCloud. Before this, the entire family could use her iPad, and I would send myself pics she had taken, with her blessing. But no recent pics showed up that I know she took. Walking out of the room whenever this wife called, where before, she never walked away no matter who called. Then she started treating me differently, getting angry at me when I asked her if she was okay one day, then being all lovey. There were other things, but the list is long. I got suspicious and recorded them when her friend was leaving, and it looked like they kissed. I called her husband to tell him my suspicion. They are in a used-to-be open relationship. He told me that his wife told him things were happening between our wives. I ended up confronting my wife, and she made me feel insane for even having the idea and threatened to leave me. That, and she swore on God and our kids. She's a religious person. For a week I believed her. By accident, I saw a text where they were telling each other they were their everything. Suspicion renewed. She would sit out back, and from the kitchen window, I could look over her shoulder and see her phone. It was a whole slew of texts that you would think are between lovers. Then I saw her shopping for engagement rings. I found them in our room. I started audio recording around the house when I left for work, and it only got worse. Today I have a recording of them very obviously having sex, in our bedroom, in the bed we sleep in. What do I do? I know now for a fact she is cheating on me, and will probably leave me soon. My friend's wife is already planning to leave her husband when she finishes her schooling. My wife told me as much. We got married in California, which is a no-fault state, and she has stated she would take everything if she left me. What do I need to do to prepare for it? How do I prepare for it? She already controls everything about my life and watches our bank account like a hawk. Please, I need advice on what to do. Third story. Wife had affair with her ex while on holiday. Now talks about divorce. Apologies for the rant, but I feel I just need to vent somewhere. So, a bit of background. Myself, M46, and my spouse F45 have been together for 15 years. When we met, she had recently broken with her ex, who was, according to her, jealous, possessive, manipulative, etc. We dated, moved together, and got engaged within the space of 6 months, and got married about 4 years after that. We were always in a good state. Not the Hollywood movie couple, but always loving, caring, having fun, enjoying being intimate, and taking on any SHT life through it as with a smile. She had some issues with panic attacks, for which she got help, but nothing more than that. At some point we decided to emigrate to another country, UK. There we built a new life. She already had family there, and a good relationship with her family back home. Me, I was pretty much a loner even before that, but I didn't care. We got a house, decent jobs, and life was grand. That started to change after our boy, 5.5 now, came into our lives. She had a difficult pregnancy and our boy was premature. Soon after I start noticing that he was not progressing as kids should. That's where I started getting more and more worried. I was convinced he had autism and learning disabilities. She thought he was a late bloomer. Spoiler alert, I was right. He got diagnosed stage 3, that, combined with some issues relating to house, finances and the lockdown, started to have an effect on me and was diagnosed with severe depression. Needless to say, my condition and our boy's needs have left huge scars in our marriage. Sex became less and less frequent, fights more and more. I would be moping around for days, withdrawn and blue. She would become more and more irritable, sometimes to the point of abuse mental. That has been the case for the past 4 years. I have tried to get help but didn't work out. She never truly believed I had a problem, so a lot of our fights would end by her saying, "Get your SHT together and find a way to be better, or we're leaving you." Where intimacy was concerned, I couldn't perform, so I avoided as much as possible. From time to time we'd have a talk and decide to try to get better. Fast forward to last month. We went back to our home country for holidays. I would stay there 2 weeks and get back for work. My wife and son would stay more to enjoy his last holiday before starting primary school. The holiday was good, we all had fun, and I came back home, eager to start a new season. My wife and me would text FaceTime daily and talk, plan, enjoy. Last week, while searching around the house, I found my wife's old smartphone. I remembered that we discussed me giving it to our boy as a present for when he came back, so I turned it on to clear the data and install some kid apps. And here starts the adventure. On the notification bar, I saw the ex's name. It was weird. She never told me she was chatting with him before. I knew she still had him on her friend list. I would leave it alone, but then I remembered a couple of times during holiday when I saw her deleting messages when I would show up. So I did the dishonorable thing and snooped. And I wish I didn't. There, in black and white, was my wife telling him how much she enjoyed sex with him the previous night, and wanted more and kinkier next time. That she missed him. That she couldn't wait to meet him again. To say that I was devastated would be an understatement. At first I doubted my own eyes, but the more I was reading, the more I was convinced. The "it's not what it looks like" excuse wouldn't cut it. It was exactly what it looked like, and more. I don't know how I would react if I was there. I would lash out, sure, but being halfway across the continent, all I could do was try to get the pieces together. That day, she called me as usual and I was understandably distraught. She asked what was wrong and I kept saying nothing. The very same day she texted me the Facebook notification that someone has logged in. After reading the messages, I opened her Facebook app as well. She accused me of snooping. I admitted I was, but didn't tell her how much I've seen. Remember, she used to delete her chats afterwards. I asked her what was happening with that guy. She said nothing. I asked again. She said something started to happen, but didn't, and then she told me that we'd discuss everything when she got back. After that, our texts were regarding our boy only, and FaceTime only for me to say hi to him. At the same time, I could still see her chats in real time. Messenger doesn't notify you when someone else is logged in. She and her ex were chatting as if nothing had happened. In fact, she was practically begging for another meet and he would refuse due to lack of time. He's also married. She was even getting angry whenever he would take longer to reply. At the same time, here I am, hurt, betrayed, devastated, crying my eyes out. Not sleeping, not eating. I think I had a sandwich only the past 5 days. Suffering, not able to do simple tasks, let alone work. Thinking of everything, over and over, and asking myself what now? Do I confront her? Do I pretend to believe her? Do I cause a scene? Do I want to stay married? What will the effect of any of my choices be on an innocent child that has no idea what's going on? After a lot of thought and a lot of deliberation, I decided I would give her a chance to explain herself. I would let her know how much I got hurt and, depending on whether she was genuinely willing and felt remorse, I would be willing to allow us to mutually work, with professional help of course, to see if we could salvage this. Ding, another message. This time from a friend of hers asking her how she feels. Fine, I'm getting a divorce. It was time was the answer. And that leaves me here, even more powerless than before. There will be no talk, no healing, no closure. Just a discussion on the logistics of her leaving, taking away the only other person I care in the world, my son. And still 5 more days of lonely suffering, doubt, misery, despair and endless nights of why me. Fourth story. 8 years after D-Day, D-Day number 2. Divorce pending. I deleted my last post as it was more of a rant and I was all over the place. New updates since then. Quick recap, me, 39M, and my wife, 37F, got married in 2005 at 18 and 21. I was a medic in the army. I found out in 2016 she had a 4-year-long affair with a co-worker. I struggled to get over it the past 8 years, but recently my kid joked about me showing more affection to the dog than my wife. A week later, an old boyfriend I wasn't aware of sent a booty call email, and I saw it before she woke up. She claimed they had sexted 8 years ago in 2016, but she never slept with him. She then admitted she did sleep with another guy in 2008 to 2009 while I was in Iraq. A few more weeks of lies, and I found out she kept sleeping with him for a year after I got home. Then she started the new affair in 2012 to 2016. And the third was 2015 to 2016 with some overlap of boyfriends. I already struggled to get past the first known affair during the last 8 years, and now I have to process 2 more. I don't think I can, and my wife said she doesn't think I'll be able to get over it, and she can't take a marriage where I look at her with pain instead of love anymore. I'm happy she's at least admitting she wants it to end finally. I've been trying to justify staying, but I can't anymore. It hurts a lot and I can't help but wonder what if she did learn her lesson, as I have no proof of cheating in the last 8 years, but the trust is completely gone. It does hurt to look at her. She's agreed to split assets and custody 50-50. I don't have much money being a disabled vet, but she's already found a place to stay as I asked her to leave, and she had a job interview. We've told our kids 8 and 13 that we are separating, and they were just happy it was supposed to be temporary, but since she said today she's done, I'm done fighting for this too. I guess next step is to pull equity out the house to pay her off. We've started filing a fast divorce uncontested, as Florida would bleed us dry being a no-fault 50-50 state. This truly hurts. I feel like I've wasted 18 years outside of having my 2 beautiful sons. I wished I was a better husband and had been more attentive, but at the same time, I can no longer own her choices. Wish there was a way I could get over her past, but just can't see through the emotion. Fifth story. My wife had sex with 5+ men. She stopped wanting intimacy with me. When we did have sex, I noticed that she had a lot of bruises on her legs, and some other physical changes that I won't describe here because I don't want to be graphic. I wasn't sure what these physical changes represented, but we had so many good times together for the 8 years we had known each other that I still trusted her. I was on Facebook a couple weeks ago and saw that her friend, who I am not friends with, posted a picture of her on a double date with another guy at a restaurant. I snooped in her phone when she was sleeping and saw messages with many different men. She had anal sex with one of these guys, and the messages described how rough it was. Another man was the boss at the pharmacy she works at. Another man was a guy she knew from college. Another man was a guy who was visiting the area as a tourist. The amount of lies and concealment that she did would almost be impressive if it wasn't so shocking. Anyways, she has since moved out. She hasn't even tried reconciling. I have been viewing her friends' social media, and in the last month have seen her with 2 different guys. The last 2 messages I sent her, one 2 weeks ago, one a couple days ago, she has just completely ignored. I feel numb lol, but also I kinda have to laugh a bit. It's just such a ridiculous story. Anyways, just wanted to rant. Thanks for listening.